Guys, and welcome back to Hey Manager, me Alex, and today something that's a bit different, a slight different thing I'm going to try and bring you today. It's called HayChat, and basically I'm going to go through a few different things, two different topics, bits of interesting information, just like a one-to-one chat really between me and you guys. So let's get into what I will be doing. So first of all, let me just show you this. So the main concept of what I'll be trying to do is bringing you a few things, and you'll probably tell by the title and the thumbnail, will be just things that I've noticed in the world of football that I think are an interesting point to bring up. I think, and then what I'd like to do is make it a bit more personal. I think that's the best way of putting it. And then for me, I just want to make sure, like, I'm putting my topic of conversation across, my opinion across, but also backing it up with stats and looking at it through the lens of how the real football world works. So my main topic today, and the one that I've chosen, is Manchester City and just their scheme of selling players. It's a bit of an interesting one at the moment with Manchester City, I've got to admit, because if you look at who they've sold in the last few, I'll probably be able to bring that up actually. If you just look at in the background here now who they've actually sold in the past year, you look at the likes of Cole Palmer who's left in the last few years, but it's the value for money that Manchester City seem to be able to get. Now, when you're at the top and you are winning and everything, you get to call the shots. I mean, it's a treble-winning season. You get to do basically what you want. So it's just a bit interesting to see who actually left, though. That's the main one. This is taking forever to load because I think it's quite a big database that Transfer Market uses. But if we start looking at a few of the transfers, the main one that I'm going to go through is Yan Couto. So Yan Couto left, I believe it was late last year. Yan Couto left around about 2024. He went out on loan. So he's going out on loan, and then there's the obligation to buy. So you're thinking, right, there's the obligation. Well, I think in fact, no, it was the permanent buy option. So they had to buy him. It was, necessary. They had to do it. There had no other option. So if you just have a look at the graphic here that I've put together, so this is bearing in mind this is a £30 million player. They've managed to get rid of him for £30 million. Last year he played 30 matches, but only 1,158 minutes were played. So that's 13 matches he basically started. I think he only started 10, but that's around about 13 matches he started. Goals and assists, he got 1. So that's per 90, 0.08. Crosses wise, you look at decent amount of crosses. You look at, you want top crosses output wise. Tackle percentage, decently high. I mean, if you're winning 50% of your duels, you're doing pretty well. He's decent, decent tackler of the ball. Then progressive carries 4.32 per 90. It's not very high. And for a player that, that's 30 million that you're going to play at wing back, you want to be bringing in, you want to be doing more than that. Like Wan-Bissaka, I've just seen him at West Ham. He's been named Hammer of the Year. You'd want someone a bit better than Yan Couto for 30 million to bring him in, and I don't think he played much. I think Ryerson played much more than he did. It's just, I don't know, Yan Couto, it's just a bit suspect to me. Like how you can sell a player for that much money. I know, for example, like he's up and coming. He had a decent spell at Girona the year before, but for me, like Yan Couto, 30 million, City could charge a fortune for whoever they wanted at that point, and that's what scares me. It's the way that they can charge so much money for players like this, and it's just ridiculous. So then, if we just flick back onto Chrome now, and we can go through it a little bit here, I believe. You won't be able to see departures. I think if I zoom out a bit more, you'll probably be able to see it a little bit better. But behind me, just above me there, you can see departures here. Now, Alvarez obviously going for 75 million. That's obvious. João Cancelo, decent one. But then we go on to like Taylor Harwood-Bellis. The hype under him was unbelievable, 23 million euros. Madness. And then Yan Couto, as you can see here, the loan fee itself was 4 million euros, and then it's 30 million, 25 up front plus the 5 million in the future, which is crazy. Cole Palmer the year before, 47 million. Now that obviously turned out to be quite a bargain for Chelsea, but demanding these amounts of money, so like James Trafford is still, again, I think 15 million for him is mental. The loan fee for Calvin Phillips alone, 7 million. I mean, I just find it wild that players like that, are going to be leaving, and it's just crazy how much they can sell these players for. And then I know they pay quite a premium on players coming in because they know that City have money, like Marmoush, 75 million, but that's because he was in the form of his life, and it was a bit of January transfer, so there's a lot for Frankfurt to lose there. Nico Gonzalez, again, a very hyped up player, 60 million, but that was all, they were done in the transfer window in the January just seen. But for me, like Yan Kuto there, you just see him there. I cannot understand it myself. It drives me crazy, to be honest. It does. And then the other one that I just wanted to show you as well, which again, it's strange to me how much that can, like, a player like this can go for. Maximo Perone. So Como have got him on loan this season. I don't know if you saw that down here. It would have been in this section here. You'll see it. So we'll see Yan Kuto going out on loan, and then also you'll see Maximo Perone going out on loan. There's no mention of a loan fee in there, but Perone himself, we look at him there, all competition. So for Como, that will mainly be just the Serie A. But he's had 24 matches played, which is decent enough. Per 19 games, so 1,750 minutes. So about 19 starts you're looking at him having on average there. Assists, he's had 3, so he does play, if you don't know Maximo Perone, he's a defensive midfielder. Assists, he's had 3, 0.16 per game, that is. And then passes completed, around about 90.1%, which is very, very good. I mean, I think that's around about 19th in the league itself, which is very high. Progressive carries you look at, around about 16 for him, which isn't too high. If you compare that, I don't know, I know Rodri's the best in the world, but if you compare that with Rodri's carrying the ball forward, and the progressive carries is more than 10 yards. If you're carrying the ball more than 10 yards, every game, you're looking to do that. Well, you'd be wanting to do that as like a defensive midfielder who can sort of move the ball around, shuffle it into space, make a few runs. If you want to be that elite type of defensive midfielder, then you want to be doing that at least 2 to 3 times a game. Rodri was doing it close to 3 to 4 times a game, progressing the ball forwards. That's like pass it. Well, I've not included passes in this one, but the long passes, or I know you mix it up and vary it a bit, but to be under 1 per game for progressive carries as a player that is touted to be leaving Manchester City, I'll show you in a minute, for 30 million. City are demanding 30 million for him when he's made 1 cap for City. I know Como, they've played 24 games and they've done pretty well, but again, not brilliant. And then tackles and interceptions, 54 for the total for the whole season, around about that. That's 2.83 per 90. He's done pretty well. I mean, in his per 90 stats, it's decent enough. You'd want to be, again, elite-wise, you're looking at 4 tackles and interceptions per game, maybe even 5. I know tackles-wise, you're probably looking at the lower half, but interceptions and tackles, you're looking like, 5 or 6 maybe per game. Again, decent player, but nothing outstanding, nothing absolutely over the, out of this world. And if I just quickly show you now, if we go back to Chrome, I've got it already loaded up here. We've got Maximo Perone will play for Como next season under Fabregas. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Plan clears as revealed in April. Como have offered 12 million for the permanent move, which, if we're looking at what they're probably going to be offering and paying for, it's probably about right, to be honest. But City wanting £30 million package to get it done. Now that could involve, future fees and whatnot, but for me, 30 million, even for this type of player, I think it's crazy. I think it's absolutely mental to be paying 30 million for this type of player. Where I know they've got potential, I know they're young, but it's mad to me. Then we move on to the players like so. So you look at Kyle Walker, he's leaving. It's a bit obvious, isn't it? Walker leaving. There's quite a lot of hype around Manchester City players leaving at the moment. Kyle Walker will be leaving the club, even if AC Milan don't buy him. They will be selling him. So Kyle Walker, I don't know where he's going to be going, but he will be going. And City are already looking at different right-back options. Tino Livramento, who is, for me, I think would have been a steal when he was at Southampton. If Newcastle managed to bring him in, and that is an absolute steal that they've done, I think. I can't remember how much it was. It was around 25 million, I think, for him. I think that's a steal for the type of player he was, for how promising he looked. Absolute steal on that. And then the next one is the obvious one. It's De Bruyne. So him leaving as well, that opens up so many different options for Manchester City. You look at Reinders coming in. You look at What's his name now? Florian Wirtz coming in. You know, those type of players. You think, wow, these big players, and City are transforming their side now. So you see a lot of the youngsters leaving because they're trying to bring in more money now. You're looking at De Bruyne leaving, which is a mass amount of money per week leaving the side. But obviously you need to replace that. You're looking at, you know, Kyle Walker leaving, which again would be a mass amount of money, but can they bring in a good right back to replace that? That's the question, and they'll probably want a decent chunk of money as well. Even I saw it today actually. If I just go on to Fabrizio Romano and search within there, because he just tweets so much per day, it's unbelievable. Edison as well. Edison, he probably will be leaving Manchester City in the summer, and that's another one where you do question it. You do think, why are all these players that have been great, you know, you have a treble-winning season, and then 3 years later, well, 2 years later, you, well, it might even be 1 year later. Like looking at this, you get rid of them all, and it's honestly, it's a bit weird. It is a bit weird. I know they've won it 4 times on the bounce, 4 times in a row, the league, and all, you know, mass amount of achievements. And I know, you know, as a Manchester United fan, it's been probably one of the worst periods of my life anyway. But if you look at that from like just a winning point of view, you look at the treble season for Manchester United, which is the only comparative one you can really do. That team stayed together. They brought in some new pieces, but that team mostly stayed together. You had Dwight York and Cole, who were sold on in the like further down the line. You didn't see a lot of big changes being made. I know Beckham moved a few years later, but the team as a core was kept together quite well. Whereas this City team now, I know Edison's going to leave. You've got Walker who's going to leave. They're questioning the centre backs now. John Stones now. They're thinking about maybe trying to find a deal for him because he just can't stay fit. And then you go through the midfield. You look at Bernardo Silva's got questions. I know they're a bit older, but you know, getting rid of De Bruyne, who's 33 now, another 2 to 3 year deal probably would have been good for him. I know he had a few injuries, but if you look at what he does when he does it, it's unbelievable the things he can do. I can't believe he's going, but De Bruyne going, and then you look at the likes of, you know, Mahrez left a few seasons ago. Haaland's not going to go anywhere, but then bringing in Doku, bringing in Savinho, what did he do with the rest of the players and the type of football they're going to play? Are those the players that you want in the side? That's the other question as well, and it's just a bit strange. It's just a bit strange how the team is completely broken down after the treble-winning season when you think that should be a side that you just need to pick and choose and change a few players. Yes, maybe get rid of your Walker and bring in a new right back to replace, and then Edison might be the one that you look at and taking out and putting in a new goalkeeper if you want. But I don't know what's going on at City, but it is a strange one. It's a very strange one, I think, anyway. And personally, if you know, as a United fan, I don't want to see City do well ever, but looking at the transfer side, it's such a strange time to be a Manchester City fan. Like, I know you get big players in and this, that, and the other, but Marmoush, where does he fit? Is he a left winger? Is he your backup striker? I don't know. They played like a weird 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3. It's a very strange formation that they played for the FA Cup final where they did lose to Crystal Palace, but it's such a strange time, I think, to be a Manchester City fan because you don't know who's going to be there next season. You don't know who's coming in. Like, there's so many different facets of it's Wirtz, it's Reinders, it's, you know, Livramento was coming in at one point, and you had Frimpong, but he's gone to Liverpool. You had so many different things going on, like what's actually going to happen at City and what's the strategy. That's the interesting one. Are they going to clean slate it? And Guardiola's got a master plan, but it just seems a bit of a mess at the moment. I've got to be honest. It seems like there's a lot of split instant decisions, should I say, and yeah, it's just a bit all over the place. So that's the stats. That's the backup. I can't believe Perón's going for 30 odd million euros. Couto seems like a steal to get 30 million for him. Unbelievable. But yeah, overall, that's my quick breakdown, bit of a lowdown, bit of 10-15 minute chat, just to have a bit of a catch up with you guys. And let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think of Manchester City's season. Who do you think will be departing, and what other like interesting bits you think will be going on for Manchester City, because at the moment it is a strange time to be a Manchester City fan, I've got to admit, but let's see what the future holds, shall we? So thank you guys for 269 sub managers. There is 270 now. Hope you do enjoy this different type of video. I'll try and bring you a few different ones like this when I can and when I find something a bit interesting out there. I know some people might not be picking up on what City are doing in the transfer market, but it's an interesting one. Looking at well, definitely looking at Reinders and who they can bring in. It's all about big money now. But I'm looking at the niche bits, the Perones for 30 million, the Coutos for 30 million euros. What's going on there? That's my question. So thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, let me know if you enjoy this stuff, and subscribe if you are new if you did enjoy this, and I shall catch you in the next one. From me, Alex, have a great day. Ciao.